lovely. So I can see it's Edward Zia, International Master Coach, and I've been following your posts about motivational stuff. I'm positive advocate of positive mental health as well. And the reason why you caught my attention is all these positive messages you're spreading along. You're doing all these meetups, and I wish I was in Australia. And I can see we've just spoken about it just before the recording. It's cold there. The season is very different to here right now.
Yeah, it's ironically it's warm for you and cold for me, so you can see my breath right now. It is freezing out here, so I've got a very hot cup of coffee, as you can see the steam coming off it right there. So there you go.
No, that's lovely. I mean, the reason why I wanted to have you on as well is I'm a mind coach, transformational mind coach. I studied psychology, and I was always really intrigued about, through my personal past experiences as well, why I'm so positive, and why I'm wanting to help and heal people as such. So I'm connecting with people who have a very similar mindset, and following your posts, actually, I can see you are determined to do so. You have created also a beautiful family as well. We've spoken about that on the phone previously. And yes, what just intrigued me is if you could just talk about your life, if that's okay for you, a little bit, and how you got into this field.
Yeah, sure. So I'm originally a military policing veteran from a long time ago in Australia. And yeah, basically I was originally working for the government, got injured very badly. And it led me to going into private industry. And I fell into marketing of all things, which was really, really cool.
Nice.
And over time, I eventually said, I want to go out on my own. So for many years, I actually went out there as a marketing consultant, business coach. And a few years ago, I went through a big transformation where I said, I'm sick of being a boring marketing consultant. I want to be an influencer coach and a global influencer coach. I started that in 2019, fortunately pre-virus. And yeah, it's been awesome for me. So yeah, it's been really good becoming a global influencer, running basically a global school, educating people on how to become influencers and connecting everyone together in our business community. So that's me, married to the wonderful Lassie, 2 wonderful children who are appearing in more and more of our content. So yeah, it's been really good, Shafaq, been really good times.
And I can see your wife is doing is in the same field. You're running a business together.
Yeah, she's about to hit 70,000 followers, which is exciting.
Oh,
She
nice.
should be probably by the time most of your fans see this video, she'll probably be not far off 70,000 followers. So power to her. She's catching up to me. So there you go. Her growth rate's actually faster than mine. So there'll be a time where she overtakes me, which will be exciting.
Right. It's always nice to have exciting partners, who are evolving with you together as such. It's so important.
I know, yeah, she's going to take me out soon. So probably in the next few months, she'll go pop. So that'll be really exciting the day that she overtakes me. So
the 20,000 followers which you have now in front of her, they'd be caught up very quickly then.
Well, the gap is closing. So right now I'm about 91,000 followers. Right. But the point here is the gap is closing very quickly. So it's only a matter of time until Lassie takes me out. So there you go.
No, that's absolutely fine. So tell me about, what is actually your motivation as such? You've talked a little bit about your military career, and then how you went into marketing and so on, became now an international coach. But what does actually drive you to that? What is the triggering point, and what connects you to these clients, and what can you see in terms of also motivation, and how do you manage to do these things with your clients?
Yeah, well, I'm driven by, I love helping people and I want to win myself. I'm driven by, I suppose being popular and being successful and all that. So my kind of business suits what I'm doing. And yeah, look, at the end of the day, I love helping people and I love helping myself at the same time. And I found the business I'm in allows me to really execute that nicely.
I can see actually, because a lot of people who I talk to who are very like-minded, they say very similar things about, when I help people, it helps me as well. So it's a form of self-healing too. Is that right, what I can hear?
Yeah, absolutely. It's at the end of the day, it's there's 2 ways to get ahead. You can help someone grow, or you can take from them. And I prefer to I'd much rather help someone grow in what I'm doing. So yeah, and absolutely you do get a lot of self-healing too. So, whilst I do a great job of educating my clients, and I'm honored to do that, I learn equally from a lot of my clients as well. It's been an incredible journey.
I mean, it's so interesting to see and to hear from you as well. And I feel the same actually, that when you're actually training your clients or helping your clients at the same time, you're learning so many things from them as well, because we are all human beings, individual human beings with our own experiences, with our differences. We cannot compare each other to, we cannot actually match each other's expectations, because we have to do it on our own. We're very individual. We have our own skill sets. We have our own motivational factors. What works for one doesn't maybe work for others. So do you have actually any kind of triggering point where you see how you tailor something to oneself? So because every client would be different as such, and one may be in public very comfortable, the other one may be private, the other one may be struggling with maybe mental health disorders or any kind of form of anxiety. So how do you deal with all these things? Do you have different packages as such?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, absolutely got different packages, and it comes down to me with all our community members. I do my best to absolutely understand them, understand where they're at, what they're trying to do, what are the things holding them up, which is very important. And I find that when you get to understand people, that's when you can best point them in the right direction and help them out. But ultimately, and I know you'll agree with me on this one, Shafaq, uh, ultimately people have got to want to help themselves. So one of the prerequisites for being one of our clients is you can't be the person that blames someone. I just stop working with you. I just kick you out of our community, which I've done many times. And the second thing that's very important is you have to be willing to change and grow. And fortunately, all of our clients and community members are like it. They're all exceptional people that want to do that. And I suppose at the end of the day is, at the end of the day, if someone doesn't want to grow, they're not going to hire me as their coach or join our business community, because it's going to force you to grow. So they just wouldn't do that. They just go to Costco and buy themselves a big TV and some chocolate or something,
No, absolutely. I mean, it's not just coaching itself, it's also psychology in general. If you go back to, if somebody doesn't want to engage and doesn't want to change, doesn't want to grow, you can't really help them. They have to make the first step. The only thing we can do is we can encourage them to make this first step, support them in that, but we can't force anyone. So yeah.
And on that note too, I'm not interested as well. If someone doesn't want to change, I'm not interested. I don't want to help them. I actually just
Right.
genuinely not interested. If you don't want to change and you're going to blame everyone else, I don't want to work with you. I'm just not interested. I want nothing to do with those sort of people.
Right. So what do? You just distance yourself after the initial session, or how do you deal with that?
Well, what I do is look, whenever at the end of the day, I end up not working with those people because I kind of screen them out pretty quickly. Because if I'm talking to someone that's giving me a hard time, or they're just blaming everyone, or if they're the sort of person that just fights with people, we've met a few people like that. We just don't work with them. It's just like, look, I just turn around and say, look, I don't think our community is the place for you. Or if I want to be more diplomatic, I would simply say, look, you are welcome to join our community, but just to let you know, this behavior is not really acceptable around here. And they usually just don't join, right? And it's fine, because at the end of the day, I only want to work with people that want to help themselves. If someone's not interested, I'm not interested. Just pure and simple.
Yeah, but that's a very good and clear message, because the worst thing you can do is mislead someone, maybe give them some form of hope in whether it's the right or wrong reasons, and then just lead them onto something which doesn't go anywhere. It's like having a plastic surgeon, for instance, who's willing to do anything without actually being responsible in what should be done and what shouldn't be done.
You're here. Well said, Shafaq.
So yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, would you like to tell me, maybe without disclosing any kind of or breaking breach of confidentiality of the client, did you come across any kind of situations where it was quite challenging for you, without putting a point of interest or non-interest in place, where you were really passionate about, where you wanted to create changes for that person, but it was more difficult to do so, whether it's on a clinical base or somebody who was just struggling. I'm sure you come across many people like this.
Every day. So every day I suppose it comes back to my original point, and I'll give you this answer, right? If someone is struggling, but they want to change, I am the most patient man in the world. Like if
Right.
someone's got some problems and look at, I've got these issues, but I really want to do it, I think that's awesome and maximum respect to them. And I talk to people like that every day. I've got no problem with that. If someone's got confidence issues or they've got a mental illness, I couldn't care less. I'm like, well, if you want to change and your heart's in the right place, then I'm with you, right? But it goes back to my original point. If they're the sort of person that likes to blame people for their problems, I'm just not interested. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. I'm not interested. I'm not going to help them. I'm not going to help them, and I don't want to help them.
Yeah, is that more about because you want to also just create what you've created, your business itself, or is it more on a personal level? You just don't want to waste your energy and time for the person who doesn't deserve it. Maybe another person deserves it more.
I just don't want to see them successful. Like I want to see good people succeed. I don't want to see bad people succeed. I don't, and the last thing I want to do is help bad people succeed. It's sort of like, it's yeah, I don't want to see bad people succeed. I want to see good people succeed. If someone's got a bad heart or they're trying to spread evil in the world, I don't want to help them win. It's sort of like, it's like enabling the Emperor from Star Wars. I don't want to do that. I want to help the good guys.
And that is very important to come to that term, because a lot of people then struggle, even professionals struggle, where they find they have to still try to create some changes, even in somebody with a very negative mindset. I suppose because of my psychological.
I just won't do it.
Yeah.
I won't do it. I just won't do it. I just won't cooperate. It's like, no, I'm just not interested.
And that's a very strong statement. I mean, I suppose I'm asking these questions because I have a psychological career, and as a psychologist, you still try to find reasons or try to find the roots why somebody is behaving in a certain way. So it goes beyond just coaching itself. But that's fair enough. I mean, I actually admire your positivity as such, because we should be actually putting our energy more in the people who deserve it and who are interested.
Here. Like, why should I spend my time helping someone who hates me, that wants to do the wrong thing, that's not interested, where I could help 5 other people succeed? It's just simple as that, And at the end of the day, I don't want those people succeeding. I don't want bad people succeeding. I want good people succeeding. So I'm going to focus on that. And I think, and also too, when you have I suppose a low tolerance like I do, it keeps you end up working with the right people. You just bounce away people that you just don't gel with.
Yeah. I mean, that's I suppose learning about boundaries, which we call boundaries in psychology itself. It doesn't just mean that you don't overstep, but you just make your choices where you want to put your energy in and where not, and where life just gets easier with that for yourself and for your clients as well.
Said, Shafaq.
Thank you. just a bit of academic knowledge.
I couldn't agree. Sounds very practical and logical and reasoned to me. So I couldn't agree with you more on that point.
No, thank you. And what actually intrigues me in general is you must have some bad days as well. Obviously, you're a human being.
All the time.
You can't just always smile. I mean, I say that to my followers and to my fan base as well. I'm quite new in social media, but I've somehow managed to create a great fan base in that short amount of time, within a few months. So it seems to be working, because I just want to be true to myself. I don't want to present someone who I'm not. And I don't just want to catch the big consultants as such, because I think there's so many people out there who actually need these messages in very simple terms, and in a way where it becomes attractive, where they can feel comfortable with, they can feel we're approaching them as an individual, not just someone who's sitting in a high position as such. you know.
Yeah,
And
good.
I can see that with your messages as well. They're very, very valuable messages inside. And the same thing which you were speaking just now about. You did do a selfie clip this morning. I could see a few hours ago.
Good.
um,
Yeah.
and yeah, no, it was about the same thing. And
Yeah.
it's very important to have these messages. To how to present them is so important, because you
Yeah.
never know how it can help somebody, even if you're not working with them directly as a client. But how impactful these things can be, which I can see in your comment section as well. You know, it's just very important, and I can see it's very important for you as well by also nodding your head and agreeing with these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
It just makes life easier. So when you're going through a bad time in general, or you're having a bad day, what's your
Yeah.
coping mechanism?
My coping mechanism is I just stay focused and keep at it. I just tend to keep focused at things, keep at it. And I don't talk about it as well. I don't like, when I've got a problem, I like dealing with it by myself. And I find the less you talk about your problems is the more that they go away. The more you talk about your problems is the more real they become. So I find all the power of focus. I like to focus on the solution. By all means, if I got a big problem, I need some help, I'll definitely reach out. But at the end of the day, if it's just most normal things, I really just want to deal with it myself and carry on. And most of the time, it's good. Every now and then, I put up my hand and say, "Whoa, this is out of my depth." But most of the time, I like to handle it myself.
Yeah, but that is good that you can differentiate both of these things. I'm a very solution focused person as well, which is another similarity, and I love hearing that. Instead of focusing on the
Yeah,
problem and just be struck by that, you try to find solutions and find ways around. But at the same time, be kind to yourself, which you're doing. You enclose yourself and then find your own way out of that. But you also mentioned that if you needed help, you do recognize you know how to reach out as well, which is often a problem which I see with my clients. Is sometimes they feel a form of barrier, shame, or it's a feeling of being exploited of on their weaknesses. And that's something I'm sure you come across with many clients as well, who just don't feel comfortable enough to open up. And that
yeah,
may take a little longer time to make them feel or tell them that it's okay to be like this. It's fine.
yeah.
Is that
That's good.
right?
Yeah, look, yeah, absolutely. Like at the end of the day, people open up to you in their right time, and the more they tell you is the more that you can help them.
And is there anyone in general, without mentioning any names or situations as such, or in general, kind of like a client who has really inspired you in something, not just that you learn from them, but
Well, all my clients inspire me. They're all wonderful people.
so in what way you feel how they're wonderful? I mean, you learn from them, but are you getting intrigued by the stories, or is it the end result, or what they're actually achieving? What is it exactly, if you could get into a bit more detail?
Yeah, I love their drive and their energy, and I love how they're creating solutions and how they're changing and growing and the results they get in. So it's really empowering. I like it. I love watching them win, and I love the journey that they go through. And all my clients are inspiring people.
That's wonderful to hear. And is that the reason why you then set up these meetups as well, just so they can interconnect with each other? Or what was the reason to do so?
Yeah, that's part of the reason. Yeah. So part of the reason of the meetups is to bring them together because, when you connect amazing people, more amazing things happen.
That's right. And do they get motivated from each other, or what is actually the end result from
Oh,
these?
all the time they get motivated from each other. They work together. They might hire each other. They collaborate. They form referral relationships. It's the whole rising tide theory. If one lifts the other one, then that other one lifts the other one, and so forth. So they all help each other lift their game.
And that is wonderful to hear, because that's a form of what a lot of this modern society has actually kind of lost, in their mindset. The old tribes,
Yeah,
if you go back to Africa, you see them all working together because they know success can always only be built properly and sustainable if you work together, if you support each other, if you help each other. And unfortunately, in this modern society, I see everyone wants to be on their own. One envies the other one. One is maybe jealous of the other one's success. And I wouldn't say all of them, but I can see these things happening.
I don't know. Yeah, I kind of disagree with you. I think you're sort of framing modern society as villainous. I think it depends on the individual, because I know people in modern society that are good and people that are bad. I don't know people from the developing world who are good and bad too. So I don't think it's a modern society versus developing world issue. I think it's more of a individual community issue, you know. So I'm not sure. I don't think framing it as in modern world bad, developing world good is the right way of looking at it.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not framing the modern society as such. I'm just saying that these things have somehow gone lost or are not as valuable no more. They may be there, but they're stronger in some societies who are very enclosed because they only have each other. Because if you go and research back psychology again, the tribe, for instance, and the reason why I mentioned Africa is just because there's a lot of research out there who go back in the tribes and who find out what the actually secret is of success and the reason why they work so well with each other. You know, these are the basic needs I'm talking about: food, water, shelter, these kind of things. If they wouldn't work with each other so closely and support each other, share their food, share their water, share their shelter, then they wouldn't sustain. And the reason why I was applying that on the modern society in general, I'm not stating that everyone is like this, but in general, if you go to look at the bigger picture as such, the kind of culture which has developed for individuals is unfortunately sometimes in that way that people want to succeed themselves. They don't think about let's take care of my employee, for instance, make them feel the best how it is. Right. And where it happens, that's when you can see the companies are very sustainable, they're very successful. Yeah. Where it doesn't happen, they kind of are lost in this time and maybe are not as successful as the other ones. And that's not to say that it's always the reason, but it's one of the main reasons why these things happen. So we need to look after ourselves. We need to look after our society. That's what I was trying to point out with, that all these valuable lessons, which should be actually innate in us as being social beings, have somehow maybe been distracted by all this glamour and all these new technologies and all these new opportunities which are there in the world. Would you agree with
that? To a point, I guess. I think that I don't know. I suppose the problem I have with your framing is that I agree with you. You know, modern society, we need to get more inclusive, and there's a lot more things to do. But one thing I do, and I know I come from a Middle Eastern background, so I know tribal civilizations quite well. Tribal civilizations might be good at working together in their family units, but they're equally good at declaring war on their neighbors as well. So that's the sort of pushback I have for that one. So you can have a group of people that work well together, but then they declare war on their neighbors, you know. So it's not just working well together as a family unit, but how those family units integrate with other family units. And I suppose the problem I see in a lot of tribal civilizations is they kind of declare war on each other quite easily. So I kind of see it, and again, coming from a Middle Eastern background, I can definitely say that. I've seen a lot of that. So I think it's a matter of...
Just for the audience, you're from Persia.
I come from a Iranian background, so it's sort of like... Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think of it more as you need very enlightened individuals working with enlightened individuals that make it all work together, because, you know, it's for example, I've done a lot of work. You know, I've worked in the Australian Federal Police in Australia, and I've seen a lot of the mafia, and actually the Italian mafia. The Italian mafia are very good at loving their own, but being brutal to their enemies. And, you know, you see a lot of that tribal sort of behavior these days, which which I think is a bad thing. I think tribalism, I think too much tribalism is a very bad and dangerous thing. Whereas I think when we focus less on the group and more on the individual and more on the individual's path to enlightenment, things are better off. So I think the moment you see people as a group, that's the sort of start to all problems. The moment you see people as individuals, that's the solution to all problems. And it's I suppose it's a very Buddhist mind. Even though I'm a Christian, I'm giving you a very Buddhist sort of answer here.
That is absolutely right. And the reason why I was pointing out is not that it's my own opinion as such. I was just making a statement of the reflection of the society as such. I'm not putting groups itself together, because I personally believe every individual is born as one person. So we have to develop our journey, absolutely everything to our own self.
I suppose the difference is I have more of an individualism approach to success and enlightenment. I really take the individual path because it's enlightened individuals that change the world and support each other. I don't see it from a group point of view. That can be very, very dangerous for a range of reasons.
No, I'd absolutely agree with that. And that's where I wanted to come to the point too, that I have stepped out of this group identity as such. But if we go back into evolutionary psychology in general, because we're born to belong, a lot of people have the fear itself to come out of that group identity, wherever it's a nation, wherever it's the culture, wherever it's the race, wherever it's the business, wherever it's the environment, whatever that might be, because they're quite afraid of what would happen outside and how we would be judged by this group itself, which is why they prefer to stay in that group. I mean, I've only brought out the characteristics of that group itself from a tribal behavior, just to emphasize on the strength itself, but it can, as you said, it can have negative effects when it comes to other groups as well. But the point what I was trying to make is generally about positive things, you know, positive vibes itself, and identifying yourself for who you are, rather than actually just defining in a group identity. But at the same time, when you're identifying yourself for who you are and self-discovering, which is my expertise in emotional intelligence, is that's when you start, although you may not feel to belong to a group, or you may feel you belong to a group, but you analyze these things with a different perspective. And then you start working together with others to encourage each other, rather than wanting to be on the top by yourself, you know. That was the point which I was trying to make. Sorry, I always talk out of the psychological perspective as such, but I appreciate everybody has a different way of looking at these things. But I can hear out you have very similar outcomes, you know, on these things, and that's lovely to hear. Have you in general also maybe been judged by anything, any of your clients in general, without just taking the growth side away itself? Have you been encountered by these things?
No, my clients are awesome. My clients are wonderful people. I suppose if my clients didn't like me, they wouldn't hire me. So no, my clients are wonderful people. I have problems with other people, but certainly not my clients, who are awesome.
And other people, would that be your competitors then, I suppose?
Not at all. Not at all. And it's not competitors at all. In fact, my competitors are actually really nice to me. It's actually not my competitors. It's more just trolls or people that don't like. There's a lot of people who don't like enlightenment out there.
And how do you generally keep up your positivity then? I mean, I know you said when you have a bad day, you close up and you find solutions. But in general, if you wanted to hold on to your positive side, sometimes it can still be hard without having a bad time, you know. How do you keep up with that?
My edge is I'm surrounded by a lot of brilliant and positive people. And whenever I have a problem that's beyond me, I can reach out to anyone. You know what I mean? So I've got and I'm very grateful for this. I say this with absolute gratitude. I'm surrounded by a lot of brilliant people. So whenever I get a problem that's beyond my depth, which is quite often, I can reach out to the right people to help me. And that is so comforting. And likewise too, I spend a lot. If someone reaches out to me saying, Ed, I got this problem, sure, I'll help them out. So, you know, you give and take. And I spend a lot of my time giving to people. So I've got a lot of social credits in the bank. So whenever I have a problem, I can sort of call in reinforcements very quickly. So having that backup makes life very easy.
And that is nice to have this social network as such, you know, the safety sign of that, having one or being able to lay back on somebody or to ask somebody if you needed someone's help, even if it's just emotional or advice which you want to get, or just someone to listen to as such. It's so important. And do you feel that you have mentioned about your meetups that it encourages people to motivate each other and maybe even create more job opportunities, career opportunities? But have you had situations where people then started bonding with each other in a personal level, where they would maybe. Yeah.
We've had people enter gay relationships at our meetups, so believe me, they're all bonding big time.
Oh,
So
that's
we've had,
fine.
oh yeah, we've had all sorts of bonding, believe me. So we've had people hook up, enter gay relationships, enter normal relationships. We've had everything. So, oh yeah, they're certainly bonding, I can tell you that.
That's wonderful to hear. I mean, that is why it's so important to have these kind of meetups, because you create this social environment, which we're now, I mean, in Australia, I think it's past now, but we're still going through that, the COVID situation, you know, the restrictions haven't completely ended. Have they ended at your side?
Oh, mostly. You got a few crazy governments here doing weird things, but mostly it's all pretty much over. But also Australians, we like our freedom, so we're very hard to push around. So, you know, we're a very hard civilization to conquer.
Okay. Well, maybe the Brits are more submissive as such, because
we don't roll over and take it. Yeah, Australian culture. That's why I like Australian culture. Australian culture is very much, g'day, mate. You do your thing, but don't you tell me how to live my life. So we're very much libertarianism. You do your thing, you do my thing, and we're all going to be friends. I won't tell you what to do, and you don't tell me what to do. And that's why Australian civilization works so well.
Right, I understand. I mean, I guess the UK culture is slightly different. We're more adherent to rules as such, you know, and I guess it's more a submissive culture, not in the form of that everything is being followed, but to a certain extent, there are people do follow the rules and do adhere to what has been said. But it has big consequences because we're social beings. A lot of people are now suffering from isolation and fear and anxiety, and not being able to see, touch, feel somebody, and you know, just to have a chat. I mean, now the restrictions have eased here, and I can see a lot of people just have a very short memory, and then want to go out and don't care about certain restrictions no more, just want to hug someone, just want to feel someone, just want to interact with someone, which is a very natural thing to do. But there you can see again where your advantage on your side of the world is, that we still have to be careful about these things, otherwise the numbers of this disease just rise again. You know, how does it actually look like with COVID on your side? Is it still existence as such, or is it a threat?
It's still around, but it's being well controlled. So, you know, the military have done a very good job of controlling COVID in Australia, because Australia is more of a military government. So the military has gotten involved from day one. So COVID never really took off here. And whenever there is an outbreak, the military take care of it very quickly. So we've got more of a military government compared to the UK, and they do a really good job.
Yeah, but that's good to know. I don't know too much about this political side of that, but I don't think UK is governed by the military as such. But we have controlled. I mean, the vaccination have been a big success here, the rollout, and most people have been vaccinated now. So we're just hoping through hard vaccination that we can just go back into normal.
Yeah, vaccines are very. Yeah, vaccines are hard to get in Australia, so I've booked in for mine, but I got to wait a few months. But I've booked in, so I'm just waiting now. So there you go.
No, that's
Waiting
lovely to hear.
Yeah, I'm all booked in. All booked in. I was going to wait for the government to give me one, and then I've got it, so it's good.
No, that's wonderful to hear. Well, I mean, I must say it's been lovely chatting to you as such.
Yeah.
You know, it's been wonderful and great and completely liberating. I mean, we had a chat before, and I did feel some form of connection, because I'm just making connections with like-minded people. There's so many negative people around, and sometimes you feel yourself drained by that.
Shafaq, don't talk to them anymore. Just don't talk to them. Never. If someone gives you a hard time, never talk to them again. Done. Easy. Problem solved.
Very, very strong message.
Done. Don't talk to them.
Very clear.
Don't talk to them. And if they say stuff to you, don't listen. Just ignore them. Don't even listen to them.
Just ignore them. Just block them.
Complete block. Don't even talk to them. If someone wants to ruin their lives, let them do it. Focus on the people that matter.
No, that's a very, very valuable message. And thank you very much for coming on my podcast and also waiting the 5 minutes. The reason why I got it wrong is because I have a calendar, a German calendar and a UK calendar. It didn't happen to me before, but my German calendar took over my UK calendar. And the German...
Are you blaming the Germans? We're going to blame those. I got a lot of German clients, so I love Germany, is all I can say. We love you.
No, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just blaming my own technical...
Blame the Germans. Let's blame the Germans. Everyone blames the Germans, so let's blame the Germans.
No, that's right. I mean, Germany is one
German. Hogan. No.
Well, I am from Germany, so I can't blame anyone than myself.
Oh no. Let's not blame the Germans. So let's blame someone else. Let's blame. I don't know. Let's blame the Welsh. We'll just blame them. I don't know. We'll blame some.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Fine. I love the Welsh. They're awesome. I love the Welsh.
I know. I love that as well. Don't worry. I don't get offended of anything. So yeah, no, that's why I got the time wrong somehow. It popped up on my phone with 1 o'clock, and I thought
technology. I blame technology. Don't worry about it. Happens to me all the time. So good.
No, it was quite funny actually when you texted me a couple of minutes ago. And I thought, what? But it's 1 o'clock. He's very ambitious and early. I was ambitious and early this morning when I texted you. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning actually.
Good for you. Early bird gets the worm, huh?
Absolutely. Was scheduling my day as such. But yeah. Listen, it's wonderful. It's been a delight talking to you, and I don't want to keep you more in the cold. I know it's very cold. I can see, yeah. I can see everything, and yeah, hopefully you can warm up soon. And have a lovely evening.
I have my hot coffee it's cold now, but I have a hot coffee to keep me going for a while. But now it's like a cold drink. It's how cold it is.
Have another one.
Pleasure. Okay. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Shafaq.
It's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you for your time, and have a lovely, lovely evening.
You too. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.